So the next session we're going to hear about from Z Homes, what they have done over the years. And before that, I just have like a very small bunch of points that one of the MC members, Aarthi Manay, had shared a couple of years ago in terms of the general frustration that associations have because of the way builders design apartments. Yeah, so lot of it, are issues because we are ending up retrofitting many of these things, whether it is, dual plumbing or rainwater harvesting. Everything is done in hindsight. But if they were to build it right, it'd be really nice to have some of these features right up front, right? So after the builder goes, initially when they are doing the maintenance, it's all nice and comfortable. But once the MC takes over, and these are the kind of issues we normally face, right? How do we provide uninterrupted clean water? And there's always a small set of people who volunteer. We've seen situations when there are no volunteers for MCs also. So it's a hard task, and managing the place is not easy. So how can we ensure that the design is clean and easy and economical to maintain from a maintenance point of view? All these buildings are designed from, they're very impressive when you see them in brochures, fountains and lawns and everything. But from a maintenance point of view, some of them are really hard. So these are some tips that Aarthi had for builders, and we were hoping more builders will come so we could share this feedback. Fountains is pretty normal. A lot of people promise fountains and pools and lily ponds and whatnot. But most of them just gather algae, and then the motor will conk out and they'll be gathering mosquitoes. So it's a big pain to maintain it, right? And they're hazardous, kids can fall into it. So a lot of places you'll find the fountains are empty now, they don't really function anymore. And lawns especially take a lot of water. But one thing here is now that many of us are using treated water, it's not as much of an issue, but in general lawns consume hell of a lot of water. And they also require a lot of fertilizers to maintain everybody likes it to be nice, green and very picturesque.
If not done properly, they cause seepage. A lot of seepage.
Seepage, yeah. Yeah, we reuse water, but in terms, you can do that, but in general, if you want a really fancy green lawn, you require all this urea and all these other maintenance that we regularly moved. It's effort intensive. Yeah, and at the end of the day, you have this, you asking kids to keep off saying, don't play on the lawns. So children don't have enough places to play as it is. So this is one more thing we do. And directing water from the swimming pool, and this is one suggestion, and I've personally not seen that, but if anybody has seen it working, you can share that. It's making provision for a pool cover in terms of reducing the evaporation and also reducing the underfilling the pool by a foot or two. Designing the overhead tanks so they're all interconnected. A lot of times the fire tanks and the sumps are, they separate, but they have to be continually maintained. So this is one way to ensure that there is water everywhere, but there's flow continually, so you don't have stagnant or old water, so to say. I'm going through very quickly, but these are points you could probably discuss. Sorry? Oh.
Going too fast, I cannot read this. But could you share this?
Yeah, we'll share it. We'll send it to everybody, all the registrants. Sure. I mean, a lot of it is just common sense and what you would have observed general, but it's just collated, yeah.
Since you have collated.
Sure, absolutely.
So that is the beautiful, all listed, enumerated properly.
Right.
These are the ones which you are going to. This is for builders, future builders. We are
Yeah, future. No, we had invited a lot of builders, but there are just a few of them. But I'm sure they'll take it. I mean, we'll communicate all this in.
We have many opportunities. So you please provide one day, call all builders.
Now, first we need to appreciate the builders who have come here. I think we need to appreciate them that they have taken
Absolutely.
time to at least understand our pain. We should appreciate all the builders who have come here.
BCIL is there, yeah. Okay. But we will facilitate. I think we have ApartmentADDA has contacts with all the builders. In general, you can communicate to the leadership there. Collecting grey water from areas other than WC. Much of it, I mean, you probably already know all this. Especially washing machine and the RO extra water that you get, right? So all these things are there. Sorry. Providing rainwater harvesting system. This is a fundamental thing, but I'm sure most of us have experience of retrofitting this, ensuring that the roofs are cleaner, or where the gutters are placed, where the pipelines are, getting the water from one end of the apartment complex to the other end where you have the sump.
Excuse me, I'd like to share a Gmail ID. I'd like to share an email ID with rainwater harvesting. It's called it's pretty easy, saverainwater@gmail.com.
What does this do?
Saverainwater@gmail.com.
No, what is this for?
For rainwater harvesting. He's
Okay.
He's been doing a lot of work in Hyderabad.
Okay. What is his name?
His name is Subhash Reddy.
Subhash Reddy. Okay, Subhash Reddy.
Saverainwater@gmail.com.
saverainwater@gmail.com.
Any mobile number?
I'll send an email and then.
Now, one of the suggestion was that I can put together everybody in this group in a mailing list so we can kind of take some of these points forward. Yeah, there is a water adda in ApartmentADDA. So there's already an existing group that some of us are part of. So we can probably add all the participants from this session into that group. The other thing is digging borewells to sufficient depth, because invariably, they run dry once up, and usually it will happen after the builder hands over.
But when you start digging the borewell to a really deep depth, right, you have issues of contamination at that time. It's similar to fracking.
We'll get to that, but I'm kind of just giving a preliminary thing to show how, just to show how Z has dealt with some of these issues. It's more that. Capacity of the STP.
Oilless feet.
Fixing water meters, and this is one of the biggest issues. If as a MC you've decided to have water meters, but implementation is a huge challenge because of the design. You have multiple inlets into the apartments, you don't have, you have pipelines which are not reachable at all. So it's very difficult to manage that.
Meera,
Yeah.
can you just go back to that previous slide?
This one?
I just want to add a point here for the water meter.
Okay, yeah.
There is a solution provider called imetersolutions.com, and I have also taken a quotation for our apartment from there.
We'll come to that. We're having water meter sessions in the afternoon, right? Low flow shower heads and low flow, all aerators and all these things. We know many of the apartments are now doing it and kind of making it mandatory. Though in our apartment, a lot of residents cribbed saying it's splashing water all over, the spray is not good and all. But I think it really makes a difference.
We have seen it, it's good.
So
Yeah, even in your kitchen.
And we can reduce the
pressure.
pressure. That's a retro, not retrofit, but you can do it at any time.
Okay, no, there are other issues we face. We'll discuss this over lunch. But in principle, if builders can understand that water that enters the premises will be used wisely and does not leave the premises, you ensure it's recharged and reused properly. So this is the kind of wish list that we would have for builders. And that was written by Aarthi Manay. She was in Brigade Millennium, one of the MC members a few years ago. Now we will hear from Alok and Shekhar what TZ has done, and we also have Mr. Hari Krishna from BCIL adding the builder's perspective.